this case. First and foremost, just some clarifications. The woman, Chantel Trone, who was arrested, is actually married to Freddie Lee Trone, and she is the stepmother of the 17-year-old boy. The 17-year-old boy actually was already being charged with another crime, and he was out on release and he had an ankle monitor. Apparently, his probation officer, whoever was monitoring it, was careless in that the person wasn't even monitoring his ankle monitor. And there's more details that came out regarding the legal documents. Freddie Lee Trone was arrested in Las Vegas. He tried to flee to Las Vegas and was captured there and arrested. There have been more details that have come out in the legal documents. In relation to the legal documents, they state that there was a man with red clothing on outside of the restaurant. He was outside of Chicken and Waffles, or Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. He saw PNB Rock and his girlfriend and the little girl pull up with the jewelry on, and he made the call to Freddie Lee Trone. He told Freddie Lee Trone, hey, there's a lick over here. This guy's got jewelry on. He's got a girlfriend with jewelry on. You need to come over here. So Freddie Lee Trone, who is a Crip gang member, comes over there. He talks to the man in red. So the man in red gives more details to Freddie about, where PNB Rock is. And basically, they're talking about the hit. Freddie Lee Trone gets into his vehicle, drives somewhere. At this time, I believe he drives back to what location to get his son, wherever the location is where his son was. Probably his son was at home on house arrest. Picked up his son. So what I think is he went home to get his son, told his son that he needs to go into that restaurant and rob PNB Rock. And that's when they got the firearm and everything. Because he's married to Chantel, she probably was there in on the whole thing too. She heard the whole incident. And the 17-year-old boy gets in the car with Freddie Lee Trone. They drive back to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. And the 17-year-old gets out of the vehicle, goes inside, approaches PNB Rock. There is video surveillance stating that there was a verbal altercation, but in the legal documents, they don't reference the verbal altercation. So I'm not sure if that's going to come out in trial, what happened with their interaction. But sadly, what happens is they're talking or whatever. I don't know if PNB Rock was saying, you're not getting my jewelry or whatever. I don't know what happened. So what happened at this time, the legal documents are saying that the 17-year-old shoots PNB Rock in the chest. PNB Rock falls to the ground. After PNB Rock is on the ground and he's laying on his chest, the 17-year-old proceeds to shoot PNB Rock 2 more times in the back. That was unnecessary. It didn't make this at this point. I feel that was an intentional murder at this point, because it was like, okay, you already shot him in the chest. Why was it necessary? He's already on the ground. We know he's not going to be able to do anything. He's already unable to put up any fight. So I don't understand why the 17-year-old, and kids don't have any logic whatsoever. Why did the 17-year-old proceed to shoot him again 2 times in the back? To me, that's an intentional murder to me. That's my belief. So he shoots PNB Rock in the back twice. And then he proceeds to talk to PNB Rock's girlfriend and asks her to give all of her jewelry. So she hands him all of her jewelry. After she gives him her jewelry, the 17-year-old proceeds to remove all of the jewelry off of PNB Rock, takes the necklaces off, the rings off, and whatever, all the other jewelry he takes off. Then he runs out. His father picks him up, and then somehow what they're saying is in the legal documents that they somehow stop and then they proceed to walk the rest of the distance. I don't know if they discarded the car at that time, but they stop, they walk the rest of the distance, then he discards his bloody clothes or whatever. That's what the legal documents are essentially saying. So let's just go into this. It's saying the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has now detailed how the 17-year-old boy allegedly robbed and killed PNB Rock alongside his father several weeks ago at a local restaurant. The teen is charged with 1 count each of murder and conspiracy to commit robbery, as well as 2 second-degree robbery counts for allegedly killing the robber, whose legal name is Rakeem Allen. The alleged shooter's father's is 40-year-old Freddie Lee Trone. He's 40 years old. He's way too old for all this. Some people never learn. And I believe he was the culprit because he was the one that first knew that PNB Rock was there. He got the call. He got the call from the person in the red. They don't have a name of the person in the red, but I think that person in the red should also be charged too. I don't know why the law enforcement has not charged that man, but that person is the whole person that initiated this whole thing in the first place because he notified Freddie. Freddie goes home to get his son. So I believe he instructed his son to basically do the robbery. He might have even told him, hey, if he pushes back in any way, you need to kill him. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm getting from the legal documents. So basically they are saying Freddie Lee Trone's wife, Chantel, is charged with accessory after the fact. Prosecutors said she did harbor, conceal, and aid the teen in the hopes of helping him avoid getting arrested. So they're telling exactly what Chantel's part is. So it appears as though she found out about the robbery after the fact and tried to hide the teenage boy and probably didn't report that he was there with her or anything. So she is now being charged for that part. And I think they're going to use that charge. And she was in court, actually. She was arraigned. And there's a video of her crying, trying to act all, remorseful. Girl, the crying and tears, you are way too old to be doing this in the first place. No more room for crying. So she's already crying. So you can tell she's definitely going to break under questioning. She's probably going to be the one to snitch on all of them and probably testify against all of them to get out of jail. Just looking at the fact that she's already breaking down in court and crying, that is a very vulnerable suspect, and those officers are going to use that to their advantage. And she's going to definitely tell so she can get out of jail early. Freddie Lee Trone was arrested, I believe, yesterday in Las Vegas. He faces 1 count each of murder and conspiracy to commit robbery, as well as 2 counts of second-degree robbery for his purported involvement. Because Chantel didn't play a main role in the crime, I think they're going to really use her as to be the snitch, basically. They're really going to use her because they're going to be like, well, if you testify against them, then we'll give you a lighter sentence. Because they can easily, her being an accessory after the fact, they can easily give her a hefty charge, similar to the charges, a hefty sentence, similar to the sentence of the other 2, because she's a part of the conspiracy, basically after the fact, after they happen. But she is going to try, they're going to work on her to get her to snitch because they're going to hey, if you tell what happened, then you will get a lighter sentence. So I really believe when this all unfolds, she's going to be one of the main people testifying against the 2 because she was already crying. You could tell she doesn't want to be in there. Those officers are going to use that, her vulnerability, basically. In a criminal complaint that was filed just yesterday, September 29th, prosecutors said that a man in a red shirt, this man in the red shirt, guys, he needs to be charged. The officers need to get him. So this guy saw PNB Rock walk into the Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles on September 12th. He started the whole thing. It wasn't a social media post. It was just being in the hood and these people be on the lookout for someone that they can rob. That's what it was. He was sitting out there just chilling, saw PNB Rock and his girlfriend walk up with all this expensive accessories and was called up his friend and was like, oh, hey, homie, there's a dude that you can rob over here. He got all this jewelry on. You need to roll up over here. So this man, who is not named in the charging paperwork, noticed that PNB Rock was wearing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. He then lurked outside Roscoe's until Freddie Trone arrived in a black Buick Enclave or whatever it's called. God help me, I don't know how to pronounce that. So black Buick, prosecutors alleged. Freddie Lee Trone parked, came up to the man in red, spoke with him near the entrance of Roscoe's. He then went back to his car, drove off. Meanwhile, his son armed himself with a gun and put on a mask. So that's what the reason why they have so much details right here. This is a lot of details. This can clue you in that somebody snitched already. The officers would not have known. How did the officer know that he armed himself? They had to have talked. They had to have talked to these suspects, questioned the suspects. These suspects already snitched on each other. They're already telling. Probably the son, being 17-year-old, snitched on the dad. Dad told him to do this whole thing in the first place. He already told him, he said, he went back to his car, drove off, right? Meanwhile, his son armed himself with a gun, and it's in quotations, and put on a mask. So what happened, in my opinion, is Freddie went home, drove off, talked to his son, said, hey, there's a lick over here. I need you to be the one to rob him. And they talked about it. And then that's when the son armed himself, put on the mask, and headed over there. Because they live in the neighborhood. They live there, guys. They're within walking distance from the Roscoe's Chicken, or is it Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles? They're within walking distance. According to the charging paperwork, Freddie Lee Trone dropped the teen off near the strip mall where Roscoe's is located. You see that keyword there, drop the kid off? So that's why I believe that Freddie went home, told the 17-year-old kid that there was a person he needed to rob at the restaurant, that this person had all this expensive stuff on. You need to be the one to do the hit. You're 17 years old, you're a juvenile. You're going to likely get off more so than I am, so I need you to be the one to do it. This kid follows everything his dad does, and clearly he does, because his dad already has a criminal record of prior assaults, prior possession of firearms, and now his son is following in the footsteps of his dad, because his son already was out on house arrest for a charge he was already previously charged with. So it looks like this son is already following down this horrible path that his dad has set for him, unfortunately. So he picks up his kid, right? He drops off the kid after the kid gets prepared. He gets the firearm, gets the mask, tells him, go ahead and do the hit, right? So drop the teen off near the strip mall. The boy approached Roscoe's, past the man in red. See, all this was a whole team orchestrated hit. That man in red needs to be charged. I don't know why the officers are sleeping on that, but he started the whole thing. I don't know why. I'm really frustrated with the officers on that. So he passed the man in red, because the man in red already started this, right? Went inside. As he entered the restaurant, the man in red began leaving Roscoe's. He left Roscoe's because he already had knowledge of what was going to go down in that restaurant, which in my opinion, he is a team member of that whole conspiracy. He left because he knew it was going to be a bloody scene. Likely because it was a robbery, there was going to be a firearm involved. He knew that they probably are all in the same gang, because this man in red knows Freddie. They're affiliates. They're probably in the same gang, if I wouldn't be surprised. Knew there was going to be a hit. He knew it probably was going to be ugly. It wasn't going to turn out well, so he left. Red flag right there. That's a consciousness of guilt on the part of the man in red. The teen then approached PNB Rock, who was eating with his girlfriend, Stephanie, and pointed the gun at him and said, give me all of your jewelry now. That's what the charging papers are saying. He then shot PNB Rock in the chest while the rapper remained seated at the table with his girlfriend. As PNB Rock started falling toward the ground, the teen allegedly shot him twice more in the back. So as he was falling, I thought it was he already fell, because there's different reports out there, guys. So if the information changes, it's because I'm getting different reports from different articles. But based upon this article, it's saying that as he was falling to the ground, and the reason why they have these details is because they watched over and over and over again, they watched that video surveillance, the recordings in the restaurant. So as this man poor PNB Rock is falling, he gets shot twice. And I think it was an overreaction on the part of the 17-year-old. 17-year-old overreacted. He's a kid. And probably PNB Rock said some stuff back to him, and he overreacted and shot this guy twice, basically killing him. He then told the girlfriend, Stephanie, he said, show me your hands, and demanded, give me that SHIT right now. I swear to God, I shoot you in the head. That's what the 17-year-old told to Stephanie. This poor woman that everybody has been attacking, has been constantly blaming. This poor woman is going to face terror for the rest of her life. She was a victim herself. She had a gun pointed at her face and asked for her to turn over her jewelry. And all these people are victimizing the victim that already was a victim, right? Basically, victimizing the victim. So let's read that again. He told her, he pointed the gun at her, told her, Show me your hands. Give me that SHIT right now. I swear to God, I shoot you in the head. He took her watch, and then he grabbed PNB Rock's jewelry off his body as he was dying, guys. It's so sad. As he was bleeding out in pain, he stripped this poor man of his jewelry. Freddie Lee Trone drove into the parking lot outside Roscoe's. His son rushed outside and into the car. They fled and went home, parking the car several blocks from their residence. See, they were leaving the neighborhood. They parked the car far away because they thought, oh, they can track this car. So let's just park this several blocks from our home and then let's go ahead and walk. But these people are dumb, right? It doesn't matter where you park that car. There's surveillance all over. There's surveillance in the traffic lights. There's surveillance all throughout, especially in LA, because LA is infested with crime, and in that gang area, there's a lot of crime. So law enforcement has already installed cameras everywhere over there, right? So the law enforcement, what they did is they tracked exactly, this is why these details are in here. They tracked exactly where they parked the car, right? Then they just tracked them walking to their house. That's what they did. They just looked at them in the surveillance, watched them walk to the house. These people are dumb, though. They don't realize they're being watched all the way from when they parked that car several blocks away to when they walked to their residence. Just dumb, right? Criminals just dumb, don't realize. Especially in LA, there's cameras all over the place. They was never going to get away with this. The charging paperwork did not provide more details about the mysterious man in red, which is the huge question that is hanging right now out in the realm is where's the man in red? He needs to be charged as a conspirator. There's one more suspect. I don't understand, and I need to figure out why the law enforcement has not arrested this man. Why is he just considered the man in red? Maybe they're still looking for the man in red, which will make me ask, how come they didn't just track where the man in red walked? How come they didn't use the same resources, the surveillance, to find out where this man walked, picked him up, questioned him, and then charged him with being a conspirator because he ignited the whole thing. Freddie walked up to the dude, talked to this man about who was in that restaurant. And we all know that because as soon as the boy went into the restaurant, man in red takes off because he knew it was going to be a bloody scene. He knew it was going to be a robbery, so he left. He got out of there. You know, he knew it wasn't going to be good. He might even be shot in the whole mix of it. So he left because bullets don't know names. They just fly everywhere. You know, they can ricochet off different things. So he left. He got the heck out of there. So I feel like that, to me, is a huge red flag. And it should be an indicator that this man has a consciousness of guilt, which means he's possibly one of the conspirators. He is the igniter of this whole incident. Okay, so contact information for the trio's attorney was not immediately available. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon thanked investigators on the case when announcing charges. The murder of Mr. Allen dimmed a bright light in the lives of his fans, friends, and most importantly, family. The accused individuals' alleged actions in this case were heartless, cruel, robbed the world of Mr. Allen's talents. I'm trying to see, you guys. Can I get a video? I wanted you guys to see this little woman who had the nerve, y'all, to try to cry in the arraignment. I'm like, you got the nerve. You over here hiding people, and then you want to sit here and cry? No. Don't cry now. Let me see. I don't know if this will be it, guys. We'll see. Oops, sorry. Sound is off. Sound is off. Let's see if we can get it to work.
Was charged with being an accessory after the fact. She is set to be arraigned this afternoon.
Okay, so she was arraigned already. I don't know why. I seen a video of her crying, trying to act as though she feels some remorse now. No, she just crying because she got caught. That's why. Yeah, guys, I don't think I'm gonna get lucky to find that one where she's crying. we would be here all day trying to find it. And I don't want to waste y'all's time on her, trying to find her. But let's see, do we have anything else? But just trust my word, guy, or you guys could look it up. She was in their court trying to cry and have everybody feel sorry for her now. I hope she gets held accountable, but my whole prediction is I think she's gonna snitch and then she's gonna get off really easy. Oh look, I think this might be it, guys. I think we might be lucky. Let's see. Let's see. Come on, computer, hurry up.
Legal documents are giving us new details about what led to the arrests in the killing of rapper PNB Rock. Gigi here with the latest. Now, both Freddie Lee Trone, who had been on the run, was arrested in Las Vegas yesterday, and his 17-year-old son have been charged with murder in the death of rapper PNB Rock, although prosecutors say it was the teenager who actually shot and killed him. And today we're learning more about what happened that fateful day. Now, the timeline in the felony complaint says that Freddie Lee Trone met with someone outside Roscoe's just moments after PNB Rock and his girlfriend arrived. Trone is then seen leaving, but he returns shortly. This time, he's with his 17-year-old son, who was reportedly armed with a gun. Trone drops him off a short distance away from Roscoe's. The teen then walks into the restaurant and goes straight to the table where the rapper and his girlfriend were eating, pointing a gun at them, prosecutors allege, and saying, quote, "Give me all of your jewelry now." The timeline then has the teen shooting PNB in the chest, just like that. And after he fell to the ground, prosecutors say the teen shot him 2 more times in the back. The felony complaint goes on to say the teenager then pointed that gun at PNB's girlfriend, Steph, saying, quote, "Show me your hands, give me that blank right now. I swear to God, I shoot you in the head." The teen then took her jewelry, but it didn't end there. The complaint went on to say that as the rapper lay dying on the floor, the teenager robbed him too, taking his chains and watch and even pulling his rings off of his fingers. The timeline ends with the father and son driving home, but prosecutors say they parked blocks away and walked home, with the teen disposing of his shoes and shirt along the way. The felony complaint makes no mention of that now infamous social media post from PNB's girlfriend that tagged them eating at Roscoe's, although police say the investigation is not over yet.
But you can see that little, you see that,
So let's move on to, this is a really sad story. So the gunman who killed PNB Rock at the Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles restaurant in South Los Angeles.
What that video did was just repeat what I said. I thought it was going to show her. But if you've seen this little small thumbnail here, you can see her. That is her right there. Right there, that's her. And she was in court. You can see the tears, see the little wet tears, trying to cry now and act as though people need to feel sorry for her. No, boo-boo, no. I hope she gets some jail time, but worst case scenario, she's likely going to snitch and she's probably going to get a light sentence. That's what I think. But I don't think. I think she should be held accountable just as much as the rest of them.
Recently. So this happened after the rapper was tagged at being in the restaurant online by his girlfriend, who posted a location tagged photo. So police are under the impression that now that this might have...
Okay, so unfortunately, they're not going to play the arraignment as I thought they were. So unfortunately, you could just see it here that she was in court recently, trying to cry and act like a little, you know, like she's remorseful, and we already know she's not. But she will most likely, and she probably already did snitch, and I believe the 17-year-old did already tell, which is why they started looking for this man here. And he was arrested, so they have everybody in custody now, which is awesome. They're all have been charged, and we're just waiting for Freddie to be arraigned. So I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for watching. Take care.